Hello, hello. I'm Strider. I'm your host here at Author in the Headlights. And today we have an amazing find. This is Kim Hornsby. Today we get to have her here with us. Thank you for being with us, Kim.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's a great place for us to start here. You have, gosh, what a background. Almost as many things as I have. Of course, author, screenwriter, you've done that. Speaker, you do guest speaking all the time. You were like once a lounge singer in Maui is what I hear, and scuba instructor in Fiji. Oh my gosh, that's cool stuff. Okay, forget the rest of it. Writing's good, but let's get down to the real stuff.
Yeah, taught scuba in Maui on Maui for 10 years, and lounge singer. I mean, I opened for, this will date me, but I opened for Bill Cosby, Jay Leno, Pointer Sisters, Kenny Loggins.
Hey, I know who you're talking about, if nobody else.
Yeah, my band. We used to do conventions. That's kind of excited. I had an infomercial, if you remember those things.
I do.
I had blue blocker. I'm the blue blocker sunglasses girl.
Aha.
Long time ago.
I have had blue blocker sunglasses, so there you go.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, they
ma'am.
really did block the blues.
They did.
I had to sign a thing to say I would not wear any other type of sunglasses for at least a couple of years. So I wore those things around. They were good.
They were good.
Yeah. So I've done a variety.
So you had fun.
Yeah.
I was going through your stuff, and I love one of your bylines. It says novels and screenplays for thinkers and dreamers. How cool. Yeah. Because who do we write for?
Yeah.
That's just great. I love it.
I write for people who read for the same purpose that I do. I want to be entertained, and I am a dreamer, but I also want to have a little bit of a challenge in there too. So if I've written a mystery, then I want you to not know until the end what's really happening.
You have written a movie base, right?
Yeah.
Braving the Rapids.
Yes, I just before this podcast, I had a production meeting with the filmmaker who was the director and my co-producer, and the sizzle reel, the trailer is almost ready for me to see. We filmed Braving Rapids. It's a family adventure movie about a little girl who finds a wolf cub on a family river rafting trip. And we have distribution lined up, so you should be able to watch it the late spring of 2024. It's being edited now, and it was so cool. I was on set every day. Unfortunately, I had to hold the little wolf cub a lot.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's just heartbreaking. Yeah,
that was hard. I actually ended up changing Airbnbs and moving over to be with the wolf cub and the trainer. And she'd shower.
That is awesome.
I know, right?
The things you can do when you're a writer and get in the right place. And wow, that is, I love that. I'm a great outdoorsman, grew up that way. So, I mean, hundreds of miles of backpacking and a big game guide. So that to me really catches my attention. I love that.
Yeah. In my early 20s, I was a whitewater kayaker. So and I also have gone river rafting. So I kind of used my knowledge of the river and, like you, backpacking and being an outdoors person. I wrote it originally for Roma Downey. She was starting her own channel, and my literary manager, who is my screenwriting agent, she wanted something to send to Roma that was family oriented. So I wrote that for her, and it never got sent to her for some reason. And then another producer, cut to 2 years later, another producer said, "Have you got anything like for Family Channel?" And I said, "I do. I have a really cute movie with a lot of heart about a little adopted girl who's reconciling her feelings of abandonment with her birth mother and has to give up a little wolf cub at the end of her river rafting trip, and learns to realize that, she loves this wolf with all her heart, but she has to let it go to a better life. And that's probably what her birth mother did. So
now that's your movie that you've got out, but you also did screenplay writing.
Yeah, I have a short film out there running the festival circuit right now called Chat. and it's about an online romantic relationship turning wrong, getting more and more dangerous. So it just played the Poulsbo Film Festival recently here in Washington State and won the Audience Choice Award, which we're very proud of.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote and also produced that with the director, Brad Johnson. And yeah, and I'm getting ready to film, strangely enough, I didn't write it, but I'm producing a horror film that shoots in Seattle in January, a very scary, creepy horror film. And that'll be a movie that will be out at the end of 2024. So yeah, I've got my finger in, writing
lots
books.
of things.
Yeah, and writing movies. So
now we're going to get to your books. Okay, finally, we're talking about authors and writers and your book. And I saw these stacks and stacks of book, but that's your book bundles, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end, which your book is part of. But you still have multiple series. You have the Dream Jumper series, Moody and the Ghost, and then do you have some singles also?
I do. I have Rocky Bluff, which is a mystery, and I bundled in my Secret Stalker books to be in a series now. So I have the Secret Stalker series. It pays off as an author to serialize your books in some way, so that when a reader finishes and they go, that was good, they go on to the next book in the series. They may not go on to, like, if you like my suspense books, you may not go on to my Christmas romances.
Stay in genres maybe, but
yeah. So I put all of my Christmas romances into, even though the only thing they have in common is it's Christmas and it's romance, they're all kind of in a bundled series as well.
Now, to authors, how do you go about that?
Okay, so they're commonly called box sets. And I mean, you can have your own box set, like I have with all of the Christmas novellas that I've written, or you can join other authors to be in a box set. And if you call up my name and you go to Amazon, the first thing you'll see, like you did, Strider, is all of my box sets. And the reason why they come up first is because they are my most successful sellers. As an
the
author,
algorithm does, well, if you're looking for her, you're looking for these.
You don't put them in print, you put them in ebook, and then you offer 10 books for 99 cents. And although that seems like a steal and it seems like you're really selling out, you sell so many of them because it's such a great deal. And especially romance writers or readers buy a lot a lot.
Buy bundled set because they get all of this stuff to read for cheap.
Yeah,
you bet.
And a lot of them will read 2-3 books a week. Now I'm in a group where this author manages us all. You buy into it, and that will pay for your ads that she sets up on eReader News Today or Kindle, whatever, or Amazon ads or Facebook ads. And so you buy in, and then you just, once it releases, you just start making that buy-in money back, and pretty soon it's paid for, and everything after that is
beyond that, because it's an ebook is very inexpensive once it's produced.
Like, I'm big on marketing and promotion, and it's a great way to cast your net wide, because all other 9 authors are putting that box set in their newsletter, and so you're gaining a lot more readers by riding the coattails of your fellow authors in the box set. So it makes so much sense to do a box set with a bunch of other authors.
And they read the set and they go, "Ooh, I liked her writing style." So then they look for more of your books.
Right. And your back matter at the end of the book, everybody puts in their back matter, and as if you like the story, find Kim on Amazon, and here's the list of all of her books, and here's the links to all of her books. And it's really a good deal to get in on a box set.
It sounds like it really does.
And it's fun.
That's what I would consider a tool of the trade. That's one of those things that, as my mom used to say, anybody can swing a hammer, but it takes a little bit of knowledge to build a house.
That's a good one.
My mom has great sayings, honestly. And
I
told her that, and she said, "Well, my dad told me," just so it's passed down through generations.
Right. Right.
And really, I even put some of these in my writing because I do enjoy passing on real tidbits of good information to people.
Yeah,
So
I have a momism too that I love. It's if you want to get something done, give it to a really busy person.
yes, yes,
Mm.
because they're the only ones that have time to do it.
Yeah, well, they're just, yeah, they're going, you know.
I use that particular phrase myself. I'll keep myself busy too, because I want
Mhm,
something done, then I
mhm.
better do it, get it done. Now, as far as you've done so many things here, you must have some tools of the trade that really work for you, or maybe that don't work for you that you've tried. If you were a new author, or even one that's really struggling to get out there, what do you do or use that you found effective? Okay, we talked about the book deals, and that's a great one. We got that.
Yeah. Well, talking about writing, the most important thing is get your butt in the chair, get your fingers on the keyboard and start writing. And of course, we're recording this in November, which is NaNoWriMo month. And that is a great way. You don't have to wait for November. You can do it any month to get word count and pages done. Because with NaNoWriMo, you don't go back and edit. You just write like a fiend and get your word count up. And then December through March, you go back and
Go back
rewrite
and
it.
edit, re-edit all those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, not just editing, but rewriting. So first drafts are always bad. We call it in screenwriting, they're called vomit drafts. And in novel writing, it takes a long time to write a novel.
It
Um,
does.
but going back and rewriting every chapter, something that I find helps me, my process as a writer, is to divide my book up into chapters. So I know that I'm rewriting chapter 1 this week. Next week, I'm rewriting
Yeah.
chapter 2. So to keep on a schedule with the rewrite. And then after that comes the edit, and then your beta readers to check for typos, and then send it to the actual editor, and then send it off to your agent, or, once it's all cleaned up and ready to go, you can
Yeah. It is
self-publish.
quite a process. It is not a simple, I write it and hey, there we are.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I repolish, rewrite, re-edit, and before I send it off. And then you have to, of course, get it back and you have to rewrite it again.
Yeah, I love the rewriting stage. That's my favorite stage, is just getting the story down. And I am a plotter. I thought I was a pantser years ago, but I measure how I'm going against the hero's journey, or the 15 beats, or save the cat, whatever. All these different tools that you have to measure, okay, this is the center of the book. This is the tentpole moment. This is going to define everything here. This is going to buoy up my saggy middle. I get the story down according to the template of the hero's journey, and then I go back and rewrite. And I love the rewriting stage because that's where you get to be creative. Then you really write it. And that's the fun part, to really write it. You've got the bones of the
That's where it
story.
comes together and it becomes
Mm-hmm.
this gem. It really
Mm-hmm.
does. In
Yeah.
fact, I love reading back through my own work. I like my stories. And when they come out, it's like, I can't believe I actually wrote that.
Yeah.
Things that have not worked. Have you run into those?
Pantser writing doesn't work for me. I just kind of tend to spew. I need a lot more organization. So I think I learned when I started screenwriting about maybe 5 years ago, I learned you really can't write a screenplay without plotting. And most of screenplay writing is plotting. And it's almost the final part is you
That would
get
be
to write
true.
the
Yeah,
screenplay.
because you
Yeah.
definitely have to follow the process, the plan in order to do that screenwriting.
Yeah,
Where
it's the shorter process. You don't get to spew or no narrative stuff on the page. It's just like, it's mostly white space. It's 100 pages, but it's mostly white space, dialogue and action scenes. And you don't get to just kind of go on and on about how she felt at that moment,
but that can
So
clean up your writing too. As a writing
yeah,
style, it can teach you to do it right the first time. Now,
Mhm.
for those that don't know, a plotter is someone who plots out their process and plan. What's the book going to be like? Where are the high points? Where are the low points? Who's it going to be? Your world building. It's all laid out ahead of time. And
Mhm.
then you just follow the plan.
Yeah.
You applaud as far as I'm concerned. But however, I have changed. I am a pantser, which means seat of the pants writing. You just get down and you write, and it just flows out in the script, which worked great until you have to go back and erase half of your book. Things no longer fit the plan. It goes someplace else. And I have learned now that while that's a good thing, it's much better to have some idea of where you're going. So you
Yeah.
don't have to do it over and over and over and over and over so many times, taking out the points that no longer connect. That's hard to do when you go back and catch them all when you're done.
It is. And you trust, as if you're a reader like me, you trust that intuitively you will just flow along according to what a book has to be. It's still an excellent exercise in plotting, because in screenplay writing, you have the first half hour of the movie, or the first 30 pages is your hero going off on their journey. And then the next hour, or the next 60 pages, is the bulk of the story. And then the final 30 pages is your resolution. So it's right after Dark Night of the Soul, new information is gathered, and mentor gives new oomph to the protagonist, and off they go to solve the problem. Even if you're not
So
familiar
it is
with
really a template laid method of
it,
what you have to do where to get that done.
it is. It makes you a better writer if you
Absolutely, I can
follow that.
definitely see that. All right, there is a recommendation from someone that really knows. She's been there, she's done it, she is doing it still. We are running out of time, obviously, and we say this every time because once we get talking with authors, there is so much, not only information, but simply being with them. It's fun. It is an isolated, solitary business of writing, and then again, it isn't. And you need to be able to do that, and you can do that, making great friends along the way. And that's part of the connection here at Durham Publishing and Author in the Headlights. Kim, I want to say thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And your stuff will be online at Durham Publishing, our guest authors, and your books, so people can connect up with it there. And
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
it is fun. Thank you, Kim.
Thank
And
you.
thank everybody else for joining us here at Author in the Headlights, sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com. Till next time. Sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com.